My name is John Palau, and over the past 16 months, I have studied Donald Trump intensely. I have studied his presidential candidacy, the Republican candidacy, and everything that has to do with Donald Trump. I only have a limited amount of time, so let's jump right in. The first thing I wanted to do when studying Donald Trump was look at a few of his policies, because he does have strong stances on a lot of his policies. When people first hear the words Trump and policies in the same sentence, they immediately think immigration. Donald Trump strongly disagrees that there should be a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. In other terms, he believes that any illegal immigrant found in the United States should not be allowed to go through a process to become a citizen, even if they have a job and livelihood. Trump also thinks that these illegal aliens that are caught should be moved or deported back to the country where they came from. One of Donald Trump's key pieces in his candidacy has been the wall. And building the wall has been one of Trump's staple stances throughout this election so far. He thinks that building a wall between Mexico and the United States will keep all immigrants out of this country. Notice how I said all immigrants and not just illegal immigrants. Yes, Donald Trump also wants it to be a very tough process for legal immigrants to move to the United States. He believes that there should be increased border patrol and that the process to enter the United States legally and to become a citizen should be much more difficult than it is today. In the long run, Donald Trump believes that we should decrease immigration. A quote about immigration from Donald Trump, obviously including the wall, is building a wall will help keep the bad guys out. Another one of Trump's strong policies is gun control. Donald Trump thinks that there should be no gun control whatsoever. He thinks that laws against guns are ineffective and would not and will not work. A quote about gun control from Donald Trump: "No limits on guns, they save lives." Another quote: "Gun ownership makes the U.S. safer, not more dangerous." Two very strong policies and opinions from Donald Trump. Now that we've gone through a few of his policies, why don't we look into what I have done my main research on? Why are people voting for Donald Trump? This has been a question that has been bugging me for a very long time, and I think I've found a few key reasons and a few key points of information that really help me clarify why people are voting for Donald Trump, and hopefully I can convey these points to you. Very, very simply, one piece of it is that people that do not go to college and that do not have a college education and that don't have a degree are voting for Donald Trump. Every candidate has gotten more support from the population with a degree, except for Donald Trump, who has a ridiculous plus 18% support among people without degrees. This is a very interesting statistic, as we saw in 2012 how education can have an effect on the election. 4 years ago, people with college diplomas almost single-handedly propelled Mitt Romney to the Republican nomination. So that's one big piece of it. Another big piece another big area of support from Donald Trump are from people that do not have jobs or that make not a lot of money. Manufacturing companies are supplying less and less jobs these days, limiting the options of potential duties for people. Donald Trump has promised to increase those opportunities, gaining big support from citizens who do not have jobs. He won more than 50% of the popular vote who makes less than $50,000 a year, whereas he only won 32% of the voters who make more than that. As you can see by the image on the screen now, people are much more likely to vote for Donald Trump if they are strongly in favor of raising high incomes. Obviously, people who make high incomes would not want that, which shows the support for Donald Trump amongst people who do not make a lot of money. However, there is one part of the population that may help Donald Trump the most, and it is people that feel as though they do not have a political voice or that they do not have a voice in politics. If you were to go out into your community and ask one question that would identify a Trump supporter, it may be this: are you a middle-aged white man who has not graduated from college? Sure, that is a good question, and you may identify a lot of Donald Trump supporters. But there is one question that is better than that. The RAND survey is a survey that polls 3,000 American citizens all over the age of 18 from around the United States. This survey showed a very key and important piece of information regarding the support behind Donald Trump. The poll shows that people are 86.5% more likely to vote for Donald Trump if they somewhat or strongly agree that people like me do not have a say in what the government does. So, the question that has the best chance of revealing whether or not someone is a Donald Trump supporter is, do you feel like you have a voice in the government? And I'm putting up a graph right now because, this just says a lot. Like I was saying, it shows that 86.5% of people who somewhat or strongly agree with the statement that people like me do not have a say in the government, in what the government does, those people are much more likely to vote for Donald Trump. So those are three very big reasons and very key reasons, areas of the population that are voting for Donald Trump. There's two more smaller ones. One, uninformed voters who see Donald Trump on reality TV. A lot of people who have never really voted for politics or gotten into the presidential race see Donald Trump on reality TV as he was. He's a huge celebrity, big TV star. They see him and they see his name that's running for president. They see a common face. They're going to go vote for him because they're the only he's the only person that they've ever seen before who's running for president. The second one, people that are scared of foreign threats. People who believe that immigrants are threats to America are much more likely to vote for Trump than the next guy. It does not even have to be terrorism, but customs, values, and job occupancy is a big part of that too. Here is the last graphic display I'll be showing you, and it shows exactly what I was just talking about. So I just have one quick observation about Donald Trump that I've picked up on through my research, and that is that he uses a lot of fear and a lot of threats in his debates, in his interviews, in his rallies, and really anything he does. Here's one specific example, including the wall. He tells people that he will force Mexico to build the wall, and when he says this, people go crazy. However, most of the people do not look or care about how he would do it. Like I said, people would go crazy because they assume that Donald Trump is right and that Mexico would fund the wall, build the wall, and the U.S. would take all the benefits from it. In a recent interview, Trump reveals how he would force Mexico to build the wall. He said that he would only threaten, to cut off the flow of money from illegal immigrants in the United States back to their families in Mexico if they did not fund the wall. Obviously, this flow of money guarantees a lot of wealth, scaring Mexico. So, like I said, a lot of fear and a lot of threats. This is what he does, and this gains him a lot of support. This is just another example of Trump using fear and intimidation to gain control and power. Donald Trump states very stereotypical and racist comments when talking about Mexico and the rest of Latin America. Quote, Mexico and Latin America are sending us drugs, crime, and rapists. These type of comments appeal to two populations of people: the uneducated, and because they do not know any better than to agree with Donald Trump, they'll support him, and also people who are pro-U.S. and pro-no foreign affairs. In conclusion, what I really wanted to share with you guys is my findings on the question why people are voting for Donald Trump, because it is something that stumped me for a while. And after doing this research, I hope that this video and this TED Talk has really cleared your mind and hopefully answered any questions that you had. So thanks for listening.